quit playing? Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The Mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picking. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm Kim. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I'll give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me. Lennard Ray. That's Come on. Name. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The Mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picking. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here with you on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel. Thank you everybody for joining. I see you, Mr. Joanna Dark in the chat, General Spartan 27. What's cracking? Mr. Sir X-Man. What up,
brother. Good to see you up in here. Thanks to those of you that are just now dropping in. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're brand new here, please hit that subscribe button because I'd absolutely appreciate it. We're trying to get better and better and better as time goes on, and we just enjoy your guys' support. But let me, without any further ado, introduce today's guest to the show. From the grown woman gamer, we got L.Boogie up in the house today. And I tell you what, L.Boogie, what was really weird is me and my wife we were watching Bel-Air, right? The show Bel-Air.
Yeah.
And right after Bel-Air was over, you know how Paramount will automatically kind of start a show for you?
Right.
It went to I believe it was like The Best Man. Like you remember the movie The Best Man?
Oh yeah, for sure.
With Terrence Howard and all those dudes.
Yeah, they're doing another one, right?
Yeah. They got a new one out. That's what's on Peacock, right? And when it went automatically to that, they said, "Oh snap, you hitting up L.Boogie," and I was like, "Wait a second, she's on my show tonight."
That's too funny.
I thought it was hella ironic that I hear the name L.Boogie literally an hour before we're about to go live. And I was just like, it was destiny. It's destiny. It's destiny.
Yeah.
But welcome here. Thank you so much for deciding to join Behind Them Sticks this evening on Thursday. How are you doing today? What's going on with you?
I'm great. I mean, it's Thursday, Friday Eve.
Friday Eve.
That's probably the best day of the week, right? So yeah, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I literally just opened this up right before we started. Just a minute ago. As you see, it's still really shiny. It ain't got my nasty fingerprints on it quite yet. You don't see the Cheeto dust yet. You don't see the Cheeto dust.
Mine isn't quite as shiny.
Yeah.
We got fingerprints.
You've been putting some work on it. You can see mine is fresh, absolutely fresh, brand new. As a matter of fact, I haven't even took like the charger out of the box yet. I haven't even turned it on yet. I just took it out the box. I wanted to see what it looked like. I recorded it real quick of me just unboxing it and whatnot, just so I could talk about it or whatever later on or something. But moving forward, I see you risk it for the biscuit up in the chat. Good to see you. And then I believe that's Sharice. I see you up in the chat as well, sending the love to L.Boogie. So
thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. So please, before we get started, before we get to know each other a little bit here live today on stream, let me give you the opportunity to first and foremost let everybody know where they can find you, where you like to game, all that stuff. Go ahead and sign yourself.
Okay, so everybody who this is your first time with me, you can find me on Grown Woman Gaming on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern with Miss Delilah, Miss Lady, and Miss Sharice. So on YouTube, and then if you just want to chop it up with me on Twitter, I'm at L.Boogie0208 on Twitter.
There it is. And as of lately, what's been going on in the gaming library? What you been playing?
Oh, in the gaming library. So for a while now, and everybody I think has been surprised by this one, but for a while I've been playing Pokemon Go pretty consistently on my phone, which I know everyone's going to give me crap about it. It is probably one of the most community tended to games, I feel like, out there, which is like crazy because when it first came out, I think it felt more like a cash grab and tended to have like a ton of issues, but they have community days once a month. They have like a ton of events constantly happening on the app. And yeah, so I play that especially because my daughter plays, so I play with her. And regular video game wise, I've gotten back into Call of Duty. I'm still working on Hogwarts, which I've been playing on my Steam Deck, and it plays surprisingly well on the Steam Deck.
On the Steam Deck, let's go! Hogwarts Legacy. Fantastic game. Fantastic. I love
Yeah.
it.
So you're definitely not gonna get the quality you're getting right on like the X or like
Sure.
on your PC, but I mean it runs, so that's a plus for me because my PC is out right now. So yeah, but that's
Tell me
pretty much
about
it. I
that
don't think I've been
PC.
playing
What
anything else.
happened?
I don't know. Like literally one day I came into the house and my daughter's like, "Your computer's on this black screen or the blue screen," and it's like kept loading to the BIOS. Nothing would work. Finally got a fresh copy of Windows on there, and it's telling me the SSD has a critical error. So I ended up calling
Uh-oh.
Samsung, and they're taking care of it. So I'm happy. I feel like most people don't do that though, right? Like their item messes up and then they just go cry on Twitter. They don't like actually call the place and see if they have a warranty.
What's cracking? I see Lady Infamous up in here. Good to see you as well. St.
Yeah,
John from Des Moines. What's cracking? I live in Des Moines, so it's good to really good to see you, St. John. I see you down there. Sir X-Man says, "Don't Pokemon Go and walk at the same time." He's out here trying to keep you safe.
right. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, remember back when that thing came out and people walking into traffic, people,
Yes.
the most random gatherings in front of buildings or inside of buildings. That thing was a problem when it first came.
I mean, it's still crazy though because there's like even though the popularity isn't as big here in the US, in Japan, it's still really popular. I think recently there was a man who just hit like the world record because he had like a bike with like 100 phones attached to it
Oh my
and was
God.
playing Pokemon Go on like all these phones. Yeah. Crazy.
Oh man, what do you got to do to find yourself into that situation? I mean,
When it's
goodness.
that bad, right? You need it that bad?
I mean, at what point do you say it's enough?
Yeah.
I mean, was he
I
in
know.
30 phones and he was just like, that's not enough.
Right. Like if I just get 10 more, I could do
Right? Like,
20% more output. Yeah.
that man's out of his mind. There ain't more time in the day just because you got more phones, but whatever.
Yeah.
So good to hear that. Good to hear what you're playing and whatever. But what I heard before we started the show, I asked you, and if you're not new to the show, if you've been here before, you've heard me ask these questions to some people. So I always ask, what was the first console that you got into when you first started gaming? You said to your memory, you remember having the NES, correct?
Yep.
Now you said, and you were very honest, I didn't even have to bring this up. I thought it was dope. You're like, I wasn't, just because I had the NES doesn't mean I was like a gamer. I just had it and played it at that time. So now that you just came out, revealed that, I want to know, like, when did L.Boogie say, you know what? This thing is taking control of me.
Yeah. It was probably like, as an adult, right? Because that's when I had the funds and the resources to play and like play as much as I felt like it, right?
No restrictions, no cuffs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the very first console I bought with my own money was the PS3. And then I ended up getting a 360. And all this was while I was in the military. So, you're essentially living like college dorm life, right? While you're in the military, you live in the barracks, a bunch of people play video games and whatnot. But it was there that I like found the community within the community because the military, I was in the Navy. The Navy is like already a community. And then within that community, there's like a ton of people who play games. So that's when I got back into gaming and like really, really played like a lot.
All right, well, let's rewind just a little further back because I want to know how you got into some of these situations beforehand. So let's rewind back when like let's say a little after the NES. What was like the next console that you had that you remembered that you really enjoyed right after that?
So the next console I probably really enjoyed was the Xbox,
Wow, that's a jump
the
from
original
Nintendo
Xbox,
all the way to
because
Xbox.
like I had like the PlayStation, but it just wasn't the games that were being like there or like out there. I don't really play like JRPGs and things like that, so those games weren't things I was interested in. I know people are gonna hate me, but I've never liked the Metal Gear Solid series.
Oh
Like,
no,
so
let's not
none
do
of that,
Loke
none
stay
of
at
that
home.
has ever attracted me to like playing video games. So I played sports games, and then um, and it's funny. One of my favorite games on the Xbox when I was younger to play was Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Oh my goodness, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
I loved that game too, but maybe not for the same
Yeah.
reason.
No, I know what reasons, because I remember like, because I had it in I played with my little sister, and I remember it being like the craziest things. We're like, yo, we can make this chick's boobs like the size of her thigh. Like, that's how far you could make them. So I already knew. I knew the boys were like on that game. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we liked actually playing volleyball.
See, that was just that was
Yeah,
just another
you
cool
were
thing
doing
about
it
it to me. I was just like,
right.
that's cool
Yeah,
too, but this
yeah,
this is
right.
interesting. This is intriguing.
So
But
yeah, so I
anyways,
mean, I had Game Boy, I had Sega, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, where I can really vividly remember things, it's going to be the Xbox.
tell me what about the Xbox was intriguing. I mean, obviously you said Dead or Alive.
Hmm.
Volleyball was fun, which I mean, yeah, it was absolutely. But what else about the Xbox was just really new and cool to you in comparison to all these other games and platforms that you got to try prior?
So, like, tech wise, the Xbox was intriguing because, that was when we had to have this special adapter just to be able to have like Wi Fi. No, I'm thinking of the 360.
Yeah, that had the
Let me go
Wi-Fi
back.
plug-in on the
Yep.
back.
Yeah, then on the Xbox, it was mainly just, we had like a ton of party games, the ones where you had the buttons and everything like that. Because you got to remember, I'm how old am I then? Probably about 14, 15. I played Madden, but mainly like party games, other sports games.
Did you
So
play Fusion Frenzy?
I remember playing Crazy Taxi.
Okay. Fusion Frenzy was that joint for the original Xbox. Very big time on the party game. That was a
Yeah.
good one. Oh,
The
yeah.
one that I had was the Scene It game with the little fobs and everything. I actually still have it upstairs put away. But that was a game for the movie Trivia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Nerd.
ain't nothing wrong with that. There's all kinds of different ways to enjoy games, and I'm not here to tell anybody how to do that at all. But once so you got the original Xbox. You said you were
Hmm.
around like what? You said 14 or 15.
Yeah, probably 14. Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, I'm assuming you played the Xbox until you went into like the military.
Yeah, I would say I probably put down gaming until I
Mm.
went to the military. So
Okay.
I really didn't play.
Were you just busy
Yeah,
for school, or as just
right.
doing regular
Just
kid
going to
things?
school. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I was like out getting into mischief and not playing games.
So, oh wow. So, I mean, excuse me if this question is too, honest, but what made you go from, regular school stuff, and this is real world talk now. So, like,
Yeah,
what made you
yeah.
go from regular, school stuff and, just your gamer and whatnot, and then, like, what made the decision to go? I'm going military.
So the biggest reason why I went to the military was I felt like I wasn't progressing. So I had been to culinary school and I tried to do catering and whatnot. I'm in LA at the time. And like that was okay, but you would have like highs and lows, right? Um, there's certain seasons where you're going to do more, right? Until you
Mhm.
get really popular. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go ahead and go back to school. But when I thought about that, I'm like, well, why don't I just go back? Why don't I just go to the military? Because then if I go to the military, I'll have the GI Bill when I get out. I'll also have, like a ton of benefits, as far as going to the military. And they would help pay off my student loans from going to culinary school. So it was literally like, this is going to be the best path forward for me, type of thing.
Okay.
And then I'm
So
one of those people where, like, once I decide on a plan, like, I'm doing it. That's what's happening.
So you went into the military, and at that point, after being in the military for a little while, the 360 and PS3 were coming out. So 360 came out first, and you had said that you had both of those consoles balling.
Irresponsible.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
Weren't we all at a time? But I got to know, which one did you get first?
You said the PS3 or the 360, right?
Correct.
I had the PS3 first because even though I've like had more consoles, I've had both consoles pretty much the whole way through. I was more of a Sony person, and I really can't tell you why. It
That's
could most
interesting
likely
after
be.
saying that you like the
I
Xbox
know,
so much.
right? But
Interesting.
I think Sony has like been the one that gets pushed more, has always been that, right? Like the only reason why the only reason why I got a 360 is because I had a friend who was like, get rid of your PS3, get a 360, like you will be able to play this stuff, all this, talk to get me to do it. So I'm like, all right, I'll get a 360. And then once I got a 360, it was just like, this is so much better. Why have I not had this console over the PS? Yeah. I totally
the
dug the
tides
360
changed.
over.
The tables have
I
turned.
totally dug the 360 over the PS3. And then on top of that, when they announced the Xbox One, I was at that point where I think I had an apartment. I think I was just about to have my daughter or just had my daughter. And the whole idea of having a whole home entertainment system and be my gaming system, just like the tech geek in me was like so stoked. So I don't know. Like I talked to shout out to Eternal Jedi. I was talking to him earlier. My first game on PS3 was Heavenly Sword. And
Wow.
I totally loved that game.
Good choice.
But I think what got me to make the jump was my friend, like I said, and then the fact that it was a lull for PlayStation where there weren't games that were interesting for me besides baseball. That was the biggest keep for me because I still play MLB The Show every year. But
do you play it on Game Pass now?
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Game Pass for the win always.
Gotcha. All right. So now we solidified the whole 360 PS3 thing. I didn't expect you to say that you were more into Sony, and then you hit me with the surprise of, oh, the 360 bopped me upside the head, and I was a big fan of that. I mean,
yeah,
that thing was that thing was a little beast. Unfortunately, had the red ring of death that happened, but
yes.
other
But
than that, it was fantastic.
I mean, even when they had the red ring, like they took care of people for that, And when I got back into the 360, when I was telling you with the friend in the military, it was at the point toward the end of that gen, So the arcade was like stacked. It was just so much value to that console that it hooked me.
Gotcha. So now that you're towards the end of that console generation, you see the Xbox One. I assume you're like, yeah, definitely. As you were saying just moments ago, the whole
Right.
entertainment system kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it can pretty much take control of the room. It's turning on your audio receiver. It's turning on your TV off of your voice. You're snapping on the side YouTube and playing a video game at the same time.
You have to connect and all that, right?
It was pretty interesting. But did you end up with a PS4 during that generation at all as well?
Oh yeah, but not until later. But yeah, I've had both. Even right now, I got the Pro, and I got the Xbox Series X Xbox One X when that came, and I have the Series X and a S now. I have a PS5. I have a Switch. Like I want to be able to play whatever I want to play when I want to play it.
That's
and because I am able to do it, I do it. I mean, everybody has their things that they spend money on, and so it's like, maybe you're an avid shoe buyer, right? And
this
that's what you're
not irresponsible, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but it's this is what I like. All this stuff, this is what I like. So
yeah, I see your background. That's what's up. Pretty nice. I see Riley and the whole Game Zone thing. Yeah, you got it going on back there. Is that supposed to be Frieza? What's happening over there?
It is. So it's the Boondocks. It's the Boondocks drawn in anime as Dragon Ball Z characters.
Okay, that makes sense as to why they have the Super Saiyan God.
They got Dragon Balls up there too, or over there.
I didn't even realize that's what that was. But that Frieza looked goofy.
Right. It's old. It's the one character. Why can't I remember him from the Boondocks? It's not Grandpa. It's the crazy guy.
Yeah, it's Uncle Ruckus.
No, it's not him. Uncle Ruckus is in the middle.
Oh, he's that's Majin Buu?
Yeah.
Wow. That's something. That is something. Oh, wait. So I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, because that's Grandpa over there. Grandpa's Krillin.
So Grandpa's Krillin, and that's the old disrespectful dude.
Yes.
That's who you're talking. Okay.
And I can't remember what his name is, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild.
But I thought it was like the coolest thing. Like I was like, yo, this is so awesome. So I was sold as soon as I saw him.
Yeah, that's a hell of a mixture right there. Something else for sure. But now moving into, so you said you ended up getting the PS4 is way later.
Yeah.
What made you get the PS4? Were you not satisfied with the Xbox One? Is that the reason behind it, or did you just need to play those games that were on the PS4? Which one was it?
I mean, I honestly couldn't pinpoint it, but I'm sure it had to have been that there was a game that came that I wanted to play, so I needed to have that console to be able to play it. And that's how it's been since. Like, I have my PlayStation, but it's literally just to play their exclusives. I don't play constantly. Every time I turn it on, I have to update it because it's been forever since I've turned it on.
Man, me and you are the same in that area.
Right. Like,
I have the exclusives over there, or like if something drops dope on PlayStation Plus Premium, since I have that for the next year, I'll play it then, and then I'm back on my Xbox.
Right. And I think it was probably to play The Last of Us 2. I played that on there. I played I hated the story. I'm sorry.
The story is pretty controversial for a lot of people.
Yeah. We know what it is. Like that just like broke me when we can talk about it, right? Like everybody You either played it or
I think it's
not.
been out long enough that people know the most serious moments of that game.
Yeah, like I don't know. I felt like all this that we've gone through, right? And it had been years, and then I turn on this game, and very early, the main character that you made me fall in love with is killed in the most disrespectful way.
Yeah.
Like not even just like he was shot or like
No,
y'all
that would have
couldn't
been
let
nice.
man like go out like a hero. No, he was like horribly disrespectfully killed. So yeah, didn't like the game, and I'm not looking forward to season 2 now of the show. But
It's gonna be controversial
Ghost
once
of,
again.
yes, I'm sure. Ghost of Tsushima, I played Spider-Man, all that, all the hits on the PS4. Yeah.
Yeah, there are several of them. Spider-Man. Or are you a Spider-Man fan?
I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. It's not my favorite Marvel character. My favorite Marvel characters are Rogue from X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's my all-time top. Storm, of course, and why am I blanking? These are people you know. I don't know. I can't remember. My brain is blanking.
That Halle Berry Storm.
I hated her. I hated her as Storm.
I didn't hate the way she looked.
I hated her.
I thought she was nice.
Okay, so that would be like me saying that like I only liked Wolverine because he looked good. Like he actually played a good Wolverine.
I feel what
she looks good. Yes. Yeah. But like she cannot act. She cannot act. Like it's so horrible. It's like when we see Beyonce trying to act, like, ma'am, take a seat.
Some people have a harder time on serious roles.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like her, but
and I feel
I'm getting good Marvel now.
A comic book role, you got to be on point, or you're getting thrown out the window.
I mean, I don't know. The girl who played Jean, she was great. I felt like she did a great transition into Phoenix. Like, I love that part. But the girl they had that played Rogue was horrible. Although I loved her in True Blood. Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for justice again with X-Men. I'm hoping that Kevin Feige can do some magic and like really do a great X-Men, because I'm enjoying Marvel right now. The MCU is doing okay.
Calling me out right now. She said Halle Berry is not a good, not as good as a superhero. Let's be real, and then laugh.
I mean, yeah.
A shout out to Stanley Francois came into the chat earlier, and he reminded us that it's Stink Meaner.
Stink Meaner, yes. See, how would I remember that? But yes, you got it.
And then Charisse comes through and says horrible casting.
Horrible casting. Yes, because Charisse and I are like simpatico when it comes to like Marvel. Like, I cannot wait for her to see Ant-Man, because they did MODOK horrible. I don't care what anyone says. He looked bad.
You are way deeper into that Marvel than I am, because I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he's like a big head robot, basically. But yeah.
Gotcha. Well, back onto the topic of gaming. So, like, for the like once you got into that PS4, did it incentivize you to be more into the PlayStation, or was it? I mean, you did say that the PS5 now, you turn it on and play it when it has a new game, download. Get that update going on and stuff like that. But was there ever a time where the PlayStation 4 just kind of like yanked you away from the not 360, but the Xbox One? So that was home for you.
Yeah. Like from Xbox like I said, the end of the 360 gen, turning into Xbox One, Xbox has been my console of choice.
Gotcha.
I know I got to be able to see this.
Cherise is
I already
just
saw
cracking
clips
me
trying to
up.
block it out. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's so
All
bad.
right.
It's so bad.
Oh man. So all right. So yeah, Xbox has been your home for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any like questioning upon that, or was there ever any like point where you're like, you know what, I'm getting frustrated with them, like as a consumer and seeing that, you know, hey, like and I'm speaking as an Xbox fan, that
Right.
there were times where it was like there was such a lull that you're just like, what am I doing?
I feel like I haven't had too much of that because what I have been blessed with the Xbox community is the smaller community that the ladies and I have built. Because I feel like we've always had something to play, always had people to play with, and even if it's gotten stale, we tend to still have fun playing whatever we're playing because we're playing together. And I know how corny that sounds, but like,
No, it doesn't sound
the
corny at all, because I mean, to be frank, I don't hear a whole lot of PlayStation people talking about community as much as I hear
right,
about Xbox people. So when you say, "Oh yeah, that might sound corny or whatnot," no, I'm like, no, that sounds like the reason I'm on it is because
oh yeah,
like I
right,
always have the homies, like there's always like 4 or 5 people that I can just hop
right,
into a party chat with and just kick it, and we're
yeah,
just like kicking back like we're couch co-op damn near, you know,
right,
just talking and just, you know,
exactly.
having a,
I
oh,
feel
what'd you
like,
do, how was your day at work, and all, you know, just regular
oh
stuff.
yeah, I feel like the Xbox folks probably went into and came out of the pandemic the most apt, right? Because we were already used to communicating virtually, having a sense of community virtually, and I remember we were doing like movie nights. It was just like so automatic for us when everything shut down to just do more of what we already were doing. You know, more community weekly game nights with like everyone, right? Because everyone has to be inside. You know, doing more movie nights on Discord where one of us is streaming for like, you know, everybody that's on our Discord, things like that. We even did like the wind down where we would come and chat shows, chat after shows. Like, yeah. I mean, Xbox, like you said, that's where the community is.
Absolutely. Now new consoles are out.
No.
PS5, Series X. Give me your kind of unboxing feeling experience when you got the Series X now.
So it's, you know, totally two different experiences, right? Because
Right.
I feel like Xbox boxing and everything was like opening up a chest, right? Because remember, it like opened up, you know, like a chest, and then inside is like your gold brick, right?
Yeah.
And there's like, you know, all
It's
this,
all
you know,
cut out
advertising and everything,
properly
right?
and
Right, yeah,
everything.
yeah, you know, and like when you got the PS5, I mean, I know that I'm going to be like, oh, she's just a hater or whatever, but the PS5 unboxing was not the same experience at all. It was like unwrapping a refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're just taking the cardboard off, taking the plastic, and
Yeah,
it
they
is what
had
it
like
is.
those egg
On the
carton
outside,
little
yeah.
things.
Yeah, like on the outside of the box, we're telling you what you're getting. It's still the same old sleeve system, you know. I don't know. It wasn't as much pizzazz. It's like when you buy headphones, right? When you buy really upscale headphones, like they come in like really nice packaging, nice, you know, curved out, you know, everything to showcase what you're buying, basically,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's a
And when you buy,
presentation.
yeah, right. And then when you buy a little cheaper headphones, it's just like, all right, there you go.
Just ripping it out the plastic.
Yeah, you got it. Right. So, I mean, hate me if you want to, but it is what it is.
Hey, Pixel Bit G, what are you doing? He comes through and says,
Yeah.
PS5 unwrapping was like unwrapping garbage.
Yeah. I don't know if
Coming
I would
in
go
through.
that far, but it
Jeez
wasn't like,
Louise.
it wasn't
Coming at
anything
the
special.
throat. What's that?
It wasn't anything special. It was just, you got what you got.
The biggest part of the PS5 unboxing to me was just realizing how big this freaking console is.
Isn't it fucking huge?
Like when I got the console, like I was walking to my car with it, like I had my coat over the top of it because when I got it was at launch and I didn't trust nobody.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm walking to my car. I got my, jacket over the top of it and I'm carrying it by the handle or whatever, however it has on there. And I'm just thinking, man, this thing is heavy as hell. God dang, what do they do to this thing? And then I get home and I unbox it and the unboxing was all right. It wasn't anything like it wasn't as good as it wasn't as nice as the Xbox unboxing at all. But
I mean,
I was
they
still very
literally
excited.
just packed it to get it to you,
Right. I was still very excited because I didn't buy a PS3 or a PS4 the previous generation. Okay. So I was like reintroducing myself back into PlayStation since I haven't had it since the 1 and 2. So
it's like so different though. It's like
a router.
So it does kind of remind me of a router, but it's like if you look at the progression, this one just like took a curve. It's just like, we're not doing the same thing at all, like remotely. Because I would think the PS2 and the PS3 kind of felt like they built each other as far as design, and then this was just like, we're done with that.
So what was the transition like from you from the PS4 to the PS5? Like you got now a big, in my opinion, kind of ugly console, but the controller was pretty dope. In my opinion, it was pretty dope.
That's probably the best part. But at the same time, like, there's one feature on there that I just don't get. I don't get the blowing. I don't understand why I want to blow on shit. And the talking that comes out of there. Like, when I was playing God of War, I was trying to figure out how to turn it off because it was never in sync. You would always hear it coming through my earphones before it was coming through on the controller, and it was just distracting more than anything. But the swipe and all that stuff, I really like all that, which we had that on the PS4 too, because I played that with Ghost of Tsushima. But I do like the curvature to this one better. This one fits in your hand a little better than the old one.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger,
right?
As well, heavier and whatnot. It feels it feels like there's been a lot of care put into that controller.
It feels like it's more like the Xbox controller, which is what people want.
You went there. All right. So now transferring from the series, the 1X to the series. Obviously, I mean, I'm just gonna go on ahead and say it's pretty straightforward. You turn it on, log in your profile, and everything looks the exact same.
Yeah.
Was the experience to the PlayStation turning it on and seeing all the new bells and whistles something more interesting to you, or seeing the old thing from Xbox was fine?
I mean, I did like that, but at the same time, for the Xbox one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. Like this is working for us, and what Sony did was to adapt to more of that same style with the tiles and everything. So it was a bigger change for the PS. Of course, yes, I agree. But I mean, I don't know, what else did we need the Xbox to do, right? Like, I feel like there wouldn't, like, unless it was moving constantly, what else could we do to make it better than what it was from the 1X to the Series X? I don't know what else we could have done.
I mean, I know I was a little taken back, like, wow, that looks kind of too similar. Like in my opinion, but at the same time, I was like, well, at least I know where everything is.
Right. And I mean, you know, it's Microsoft, and when we went from Windows 10 to Windows 11, it was pretty much the same. There's like more softer, more central area for the taskbar, and even with them, their Windows is leaning more toward Safari, toward Apple, right? Because
Sure.
they're they're the leader, right, in that respect. But I don't know. I tend to be very logical. I don't really feel like there was much more for them to have done to the dashboard, but I do get that it wasn't it's different.
Yeah, it was like,
so I don't know. I guess
you turn it on, you're like, oh my goodness, and then you're like, oh, okay,
right, yeah. Well, look, you got better packaging and didn't get as good, of a on-screen performance. And then on the PlayStation, you got shitty packaging and a voila when you got to the screen.
Yeah, there you go. That was perfectly described right there. So now moving into the games, which I definitely want to get into and talk about. Like, what are some of the best games that you played so far this generation? Let's start out first with the Xbox.
Okay, this gen, and it's not because of like graphics, because I don't feel like this game has good graphics, and that's just because the style doesn't really allow for it, to me, in my opinion. But Elden Ring was probably like one of the coolest games I played, because I'm not a Souls person at all. Like,
Me neither.
I had someone buy me Dark Souls 3, and I could not get past the first person, so I just put it down. Like, I don't play games to be frustrated. So if I get frustrated, you're usually going, on the shelf. So Elden Ring was probably like the biggest blow me away, because I'm not completely complete with the story, but I'm pretty close. Like, I'm at the end.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's one game. Is there any other games for the Xbox that you've enjoyed so far? Because I'm assuming you bought that one for the Xbox, although it's third-party game. I did as well.
Right. Let me think. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Now you're making me want to pull out my games. So, first party, if we want to do first party, we would say Halo Infinite. The story, the multiplayer, let's get the bad part out. Multiplayer, I'll play if I'm playing with people, but I don't think that they did the multiplayer, gave it the best hand it could have. I do feel like the mechanics are there, right? Like, it's probably one of the best shooters out there, if not the best shooter out there, as far as mechanics go. But the battle pass, the progression system, like, they need to just scrap all that shit and make sure that we have maps. Like, that's the biggest thing, right, with multiplayer right now. Like, you want the map to be changing because it gets stale after a while, and you want to feel rewarded playing a game. So they're not hitting those there. But as far as the campaign, it was totally different from what we've seen from Halo. It was definitely a step in the right direction for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed the story. And that's probably because, I don't know, because Delilah loved it too, and she's like totally into Halo. But I don't know. I didn't have a lot of hangups about how the story was leading up to it. So I'm very much one of those gamers that when I turn on a game, this is the ride. We're on the ride.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm answering somebody in the chat real quick.
You're good.
So with that being said, I'm curious now for the PlayStation as well. Like, since you got that console, has there been any standouts for that?
For PS5, I mean, I played Forspoken, and Forspoken was a great game. Like, people give it
You're one of
so
the few
much
to
shit
say that.
because I feel like I'm one of the few that have actually played it. Like, I feel like a ton of people gave that game shit based on the beta and didn't even buy that game, didn't play the game, didn't put hours into the game, and they're just following the crowd, the clickbait crowd. But the game itself is a good game. Once you learn how to combo in it, it's a beautiful game and it's fun combat.
So I'm surprised that was like the first game you thought of.
Oh yeah,
said PlayStation 5.
Well, for one thing, PlayStation 5, there hasn't been like a ton. Just honestly, there hasn't been a ton of things that are first party on PS5 that stand out to me. I mean, what stands out for you?
I mean, God of War was nice. I have some things that stand out, but not for the right reasons. Callisto Protocol being one of them. Ratchet and Clank.
Callisto Protocol was on the Xbox, though.
Yeah, it was on the Xbox, but I mean, I bought it for the PS5, and that's where like the big marketing was and whatnot for it. And I mean, I feel like I fell for it. I fell for it.
No.
And I got it, and it was a beautiful looking game. The story was all right, but it just wasn't it for me. It wasn't. I thought it'd be a little bit more clever than Dead Space, but instead it was the other way around. It was way less clever than Dead Space, and Dead Space came out and put it to shame. So
you mean the remake?
The remake, yep, the remake came out because the original Dead Space, those guys that made Callisto Protocol actually made Dead Space,
right,
and whatnot. Right. So I was expecting it. You know, I'm like, man, the original makers are out here and they're coming out before the remake comes out. I'm expecting this to like maybe make the remake look bad, but didn't happen. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like I play Callisto Protocol because we have our, horror challenges that we have with the ladies. And Sharice played Dead Space, but I felt like there were a lot of quality of life things in Dead Space that should have been in Callisto Protocol that, she was able to do. I mean, I don't know about you, but I could never get the guy to run in Callisto Protocol. Like, he slept the entire time. Yeah. Like, he slept. Like, he had a bad leg the whole time. You're like, yo.
Oh, my God.
How are we doing this? Yeah.
That's terrible. Yeah. That's an extra terrible experience because he's already slow as it is.
Right.
And to be limping the entire time, you got a bad leg the entire time. That's wild.
Right. Sorry, I mean, that's how it felt. That's how it felt. Like, like he's so slow. Like it felt like he was, dragging a leg behind him. So I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, sure. All right. So now that I feel like we got to the end of that subject, now I got to ask you about your cuz this is half of the reason I want you on here is to talk about your experience getting into content creating, right?
Okay.
So take me down this rabbit hole or ride or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
What made you first think about being either on a show or on camera for anything? Like let's go even before you even started with like GWG or Twitch or anything like that. Like let's take it back to like the younger years. Like, were you always like a person that wanted to be seen, or you felt like you had the knowledge that you just didn't have the platform to share it, or like what kind of got you to that point?
Yeah, no, I'm very much an introvert and was so as a child. It probably was just being around E3 and things like that. So me being from LA, the first E3 I went to was in 2016, I want to say, when they first started the fan fest and everything like that. Like, people didn't even know like what it was. Like, they put out this blast that, if you came to the Microsoft store, that they were going to have you sleep overnight, and you got tickets. Everybody, if you were like, the first whatever, that you're going to get tickets to FanFest, Xbox FanFest. And me just moving back to California, I hadn't got acquainted with too many people just yet, and I just decided to go. Like, I watched. I don't know if you remember, when they were moving to the Xbox One, they had like a ton of Xbox shows that came on Twitch and whatnot, right? And would come on to your Xbox, and that's where I met Ricari, and seeing him and seeing the games and stuff like that. That kind of like made me go ahead and make the leap to sleep outside all night, for these tickets. And then I met, I don't know if you know who the Junkie is. That's where I met Southbound 110. That's where I met, I'm missing people, Inferno, like a ton of Xbox people. I don't know if you can remember Four Guys with Quarters. Inferno, he started that. So yeah, that's how I met all those people there. And it was just, because of where I was standing in line, right? And that catapulted me into Twitter, being on there, and then just finding people. And it was really when I met Lady Infamous that she was like, hey, I want to get this podcast thing together. And I really hadn't had too much of anything. I had a computer and whatnot, but I didn't have like a whole setup like I do now. And I was just like, sure, because being a woman of color, you don't see a lot of people that look like us or hear a lot of opinions from people who look like us. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, that's how it started.
So Lady Infamous got you onto the team essentially,
right
after E3, and you meeting everybody, getting your Twitter and Twitch and like all that kind of stuff set up. So so that's what's up. So how did the whole crew formulate? Like, so how did it start out? So it started out with Lady Infamous, I'm assuming,
right? And she was on a show with Delilah and a couple other females. I'm blanking on the names, but they knew each other. And then I think Lady just saw me just through Twitter, just because I knew pretty much, and I still know, like, I guess you could say all the big names, right, in the Xbox community. And so she reached out, and then Delilah knew Sharice, and we all got together and started recording. Now, those first ones are rough, but we have come a long way.
And how long have you guys been a crew for, about roughly?
Since 2018.
So y'all been rocking for a minute now. That's what's
for
up.
A minute. I know. Yeah.
Congratulations to you and the rest of your team. That's pretty dope, and that's not easy to stick.
Right.
Script
with the same crew since 2018. Right. You know how many of the podcasts out here? Yes. Like, people like switching in and out.
Keep somebody or somebody. Oh man, I ain't got time for this anymore. I got to leave.
Right.
I mean, what's that? That's 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Those are my girls.
That's a dub. All right. So with that being said, what I want you to do, and I like to try to remember to do this every episode. I don't always do it, but I want you to pay the respect to those that has helped you get to where you are. So whether it's, somebody in your family or somebody, within gaming or whatnot, I want you to shout out some people that really helped you get to where you're at today.
So I have to say a big shout out to my Aunt Joanne, who is no longer with us, but
Mm.
she, like oddly enough, always supported me being, on podcasts and doing gaming things. Then, of course, all my ladies. I feel like one of the biggest things that I think keep us right the way we do is that we uplift each other constantly, always pushing each other to do better. So those ladies, Sharice, Delilah, Lady, love all y'all. And then in the gaming community, the guys from Iron Lords podcast have always been great to us. We know Jez, he's come on our podcast. Colt, Fonz, Four Guys with Quarters guys, Inferno, all those folks. I mean, we've all been around from the same time, I feel like, and still keep in touch now.
That's what's up. Well, yeah. Like I said, congrats to you, and shout out to all those people that helped you get to where you are today. And that's what's up. Really happy to hear that. But from there, I now want to merge into some more games and stuff like that. So when it comes to you, L.Boogie, what gaming genre are you just not rocking with?
And it's not that I'm just like not rocking with it per se. It'll take a lot to get me there. And Sharice is gonna hate me, but it's JRPGs. I love RPGs, but JRPGs a lot of times are so over the top, and usually don't do us justice as Black folks. So they're just not appealing to me.
Fair enough. So you're not into Final Fantasy or anything like that.
I played them back in the day, but I haven't played the newer ones at all. Like I think I've probably only played 3. And yeah, they don't interest me.
So the new Final Fantasy,
and then games,
nothing for you.
Nothing for me. You'll see, like on the show, I'm just like, this ain't for me. Hey, that's for y'all.
Cut dry to the point.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, one of those people. I don't replay games. I don't really like remakes. Yeah. Like Sharice likes that. Like I don't like all that. Like talking, and then like you button mash for like all these crazy moves that you're like not even doing. You're just button mashing. I don't know. Like they're not for me.
All right. Well, let's move on before Sharice busts into the stream and let you.
She's gonna kick me on Saturday, I'm sure.
Oops. But anyway, so what are the best 3 games that you've played in just the last year? And this doesn't have to be games that came out within the last year. This is just games in general. So the best 3 games that you played the last year.
Oh my god, the best 3 games I played last year? I feel like this is past year, right?
Mm-hmm. They didn't have to come out past year, but
right.
You just had to have played them within the last year.
I was not prepared. All right. I don't know. Hold on. Give me a second. Now I gotta look at my library. Oh!
What up, Nate? I see in the chat. He said, "Looks like I came in at an interesting time."
Yeah, I know, right? High on Life was fun, but I couldn't finish it. It just got like really stupid. Saints Row I played, but it just wasn't really hitting. I can never get into Vampire Survivors. I know it's really crazy because like the games that I play the most, you guys would like shit on me for. Like one of the games that I played the most this last year was Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
because it's
interesting.
like I know it, but it's like um, what was the one? Animal Crossing. It's like
Okay.
Animal Crossing, but Disney. And I mean, I'm wearing
I
my
could see
Disney
how
Cruise
that could
Line
be
shirt right now.
I could see how that could be
Yes,
addicting then.
yes. Like I'm a Disney nut, so yeah, that probably took up a ton of my time. And then let's see, I can go to achievements. That would be an easy way to see, right? The most recent games that I played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Halo Infinite. That's the one. Halo Infinite.
You don't want to go to your PlayStation, turn that on, and look at your past trophies. Or none of those games
It's.
in the
I
top
mean,
3?
look. I mean, I finished God of War, so that's saying something. Like I
It
totally
wasn't a
loved.
top 3 though for you
I
for the
loved.
year.
I loved the story. I love the story, and I guess it is. I guess it is really, honestly, because like I love the story, and I finished the game, which I don't always finish games. Hogwarts Legacy is probably like there right now for me, and it's probably that's why I'm losing it. And then Gotham Knights. My brain's getting together. Don't worry, I'm catching up now.
I
So
can hear the
I would
engine.
say, yeah, the engine's revving, right? But yeah, so Gotham Knights was like a blast. I played through that. I beat that. God of War, I played through that, beat that. The story was fantastic. The graphics fucking suck. I'm tired of people trying to act like God of War has these amazing fucking graphics. The graphics, the scenery is great. The scenery looks fabulous. You zoom in on somebody's face, that shit looks horrible. The hair looks like doll hairs that are like stuck in a zigzag. Dude, please come on. Tell me you see it. Tell me
I,
you saw when they're walking in
I
the
ain't
one
gonna
girl,
lie. I ain't gonna lie.
Thor's daughter, her
The
skirt gets
wife,
pulled.
the wife of, or not, like the woman that or I don't
Thor's
know, what do
wife.
you want to say? No, Kratos.
Yeah, yeah,
That's when I noticed,
yeah,
like, this
yeah.
Kratos' character model looks really good. What happened to her?
Right, right. Kratos looks good. The boy looks pretty good. Everybody else looks like they did not get the time.
Mm.
Look, hey,
Hey, you
and I
saying
have
you
videos.
saying what you gotta
I have
say?
videos. I have videos because I know people like they are like, oh, she's a hit. Look, I have videos. I will share them. Like it. You can't tell me like Horizon Zero Dawn looked way better.
Zero Dawn,
Not Zero Dawn.
Forbidden
Why do I
West.
always forget that? Forbidden West, yes. But Horizon Forbidden West looked better. I
Their
played
character
that too,
models were
but
nice.
but I
They're
got
just
sucked out
dull.
of that because yeah, like I felt like I don't give a shit about you, girl. Like, why is this that I don't care about you? So, like, I wanted to play as other people in the game more than I wanted to play as the main character in Forbidden West. But yeah, all right. So, God of War, great story, shitty graphics.
Oh my god,
Gotham
it just
Knights.
sounds insane when you say that
Look,
every time.
look. Gotham Knights, great mechanic, great story progression, uh, great story. I very much enjoyed that game. People gave it a bunch of shit for no reason. The worst part of that game was the bike. The bike was horrible. Like they didn't spend enough time on that mechanic at all.
Which
Um,
bike and what?
so in Gotham Knights, when you got
Oh,
on the
okay.
motorcycle to
The
ride,
motorcycle. Okay, gotcha. I got
right?
you.
Yeah, it was bad. Like when you like watch a cartoon and they're like in a car that isn't moving and the scenery is flying past them. That's how I felt driving the car. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, if I could avoid being on the bike, I did. Um, and then yeah, Dreamlight Valley, and what was the other one I brought up?
You said God of War, Dreamlight Valley, and I believe it was Hogwarts or Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Hogwarts. Hogwarts has been like so far this year. Hogwarts is game of the year.
I agree.
Yeah.
So far. For so far for the year, nothing has got me more like involved in like, man, I can't wait to get home and hop on that. Like nothing
Right.
has done that like
Yeah.
Hogwarts did for me. And that was a fantastic game that I played like I want to say like anywhere between 65 and 75 hours I have on it.
Yeah. I'm like at the 45-hour mark, and if my PC didn't die on me, I'd probably be more into it. And the only reason why I'm not playing it as much on the Steam Deck is because I'm toward the end, and I want to be able to play it on my nice screen with the nice graphics. I don't want to have to play it on the Steam Deck just to be done with it. But yeah, there's some games coming out soon. We got a lot of games coming this year. This year is going to be packed.
Absolutely. So that actually brings me on to my next question, which is what is the most anticipated game for you for the rest of this year? And then I want you to throw out some notable ones as well, because I know this, as we just got to saying, this year's packed. So there could be a few others that you're like, oh man, I wouldn't mind
Right.
that one too. But this one right here is the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play like Starfield. Obviously, I want to play that game. I'm gonna play Redfall. Um, but probably the most geeked out game I'm ready for is Star Wars. I played the first one.
Jedi Survivor, gotcha.
Yeah, and this one looks like it's just building right on that. More mechanics, more force, more sword, more lightsaber play. I don't know. I'm ready for that, and I like that game had a little bit of soulsiness to it. I mean, when you get to the bosses, you really have to, play, strategize, get through each boss.
Just
So
and slashing like you are on the way.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. You can't be just button mashing at all. You have to parry and really
stance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to be ready to roll. So yeah, and that was one of the games that I finished. The first one, and really enjoyed it. So Respawn, love them. Can't wait for that one.
Got
and then
it.
Sony wise, I mean, I'll play Spider-Man. But I'm not just a huge Spider-Man person, so I'm not like fawning over a Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
so as far as announced games, that's what I'm waiting
Stellar
for.
Blade look like something you want to play?
What?
Okay. Yeah, never mind. I feel like you answered that right there. You're like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So maybe look into it. You probably aren't gonna be too stoked because I think it might be more leaning on the JRPG direction. So I'm not sure if you're gonna be stoked on that, but check it out and see for yourself because I could be wrong. I could be wrong as hell. But moving.
You know what'll get me to play it is if it's free. So.
Hey, that ain't happening. All right. So. Hey,
somebody wants to gift it to me, I'll play it.
Hey, there you go. But let's keep in mind this is a Sony exclusive, and it was supposed to be coming out for Xbox, but that got stopped after Sony helped fund it.
Okay.
So, hey, I remember some people.
But it's okay for them to do that. Yeah, it's okay for them to do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
We have to eat it and say, "Please, sir, give me more."
Yeah. We better not get into that right now because I mean that conversation I can get heated about, get my passion on, but that's for another show. So moving forward, I also want to know what your favorite studio is and what game best represents it.
Oh man, who's on my mind right now? Because they just, released, probably game-changing software that's going to, push gaming forward is Ninja Theory. I don't know if you saw their
the Unreal thing.
Their right. Well, not even just with their Unreal. They have a engine that or software for making games that they're putting out, and I want to say it's MetaHuman, where they're actually going to sell the software for people in gaming to be able to do what they do, to be able to take that motion capture of the faces and be able to put it on to any virtual person. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, most of my love of gaming is the tech aspect. Like, I work in tech and everything. Like, I love technology. I love what we're doing with it, and that is something that is going to change for PlayStation games and for Xbox games for a while. So I'm stoked about that. And then, like I said, the very first game I got on the PS3, which was the first system I bought with my own money, was Heavenly Sword. And I actually got to meet the head of Ninja Theory at the last E3 that I went to. So I do enjoy their games. I couldn't get all the way through the last one, The Voices, just like really got to me.
Oh, and Hellblade?
Yeah, and Hellblade.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I'm not a big scary game person. I'm going to try to power through this next iteration. But
just get somebody into a party chat with you.
I know, right? To help out. Yeah.
Then there's one more voice, but at least you know who it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a safe voice. Yeah. But yeah, did you ask for more? I mean, I love Respawn. I love Titanfall, and Titanfall 2. And I was heavy into Apex for a long time. But I don't know, it just fell off the game that everyone wanted to play. So I kind of will gravitate toward whatever all my friends are playing. I mean, that's why I'm playing COD right now. COD is not my favorite game at all, but that's what everybody's playing, so that's what I'm playing.
Got it. So just kicking it with the homies, doing the thing.
Right, yeah.
Some games
Shooting, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now I need to know what you would do if you had the opportunity to pick two old and dead IPs and bring them back to today's kind of AAA standard. Since we're talking about
probably not the I know, but I'm probably not the best person just because I very much want us to tell new stories.
Ooh, you're the first person on my show to do that. I'll allow
it. I very much want to see new stories. I mean, old IPs are great, but there's usually a nostalgia factor that will never allow them to be as great as we remember them. And
some people, like I said, Dead Space. Some people might argue Dead Space.
I mean, I didn't play it originally, so I would never have those feels. But I do know that, like, if they were to come and redo like a Star Wars Old Republic, right, a new one. All right, am I frozen for you? Oh no, here we go.
You're good. Discord just being Discord.
Right. I mean, I would play it, but it wouldn't be something that would be most anticipated, right? Because I feel like there's going to be that level of it has to hit all these points to be good.
All right.
So I'm, it's very consistent with how I am on the show.
You just don't want to look back anymore.
Yeah, I've always been this way. I hate remakes, remasters. I don't like them. Stop doing them, industry. People stop buying them so that we can get new stories.
All right. Well, that led me on to a different question that I don't have written down, but I gotta wonder, what, so you said you don't like remakes or remasters that much.
Mm-hmm.
Why, or why do you think that's so prevalent right now? Do you think it's just an easy money grab? Do you think it's due to already having assets and whatnot and them just having to upscale in
Yeah,
certain aspects? Or do you
all that.
think that like they, because the big thing that's going around now is people are saying, oh, like they ran out of, like people are running out of ideas or creativity is stifled. Do you think it has anything to do with that?
It's not that at all. So like my degree is in business and information systems. So a heavy portion of my studies were business, right? And what we have right now is a situation where games cost billions of dollars to make, leaning on to the trillions, now. And stakeholders, right, the people who give the money for these games to be made, don't want to spend all that money and not get a return. Return on investment. It's very big, So if they're not going to get a return on investment, or if there's more of a gamble, you're going to see less of that, which I think that's why having things like Idea Xbox, having PlayStation invest in indie titles, that's what's going to allow people to still have that creativity. But the big studios, it's hard for them to be able to be approved to make a game that does not already have brand loyalty attached to it.
Right.
I mean,
And then
even
on top
for
of it, the years that it takes to make it.
Right. So for them to spend a ton of money, ton of resources to make a game and for it to flop, they're just not going to take those chances. It's just not good business sense, unfortunately. As a consumer, I would love for them to take more chances, and maybe things like Game Pass will allow them to take more chances, right?
Right.
On
That's the hope.
on new IPs, right? But yeah, I mean, that's why.
I was actually asked a similar question that I'm asking you on another podcast. I think it was on Risk It for the Biscuits or something like that on Xbox Infinite. But they were asking me this question, and I was just like, yo, the way I feel like it's going to end up going is the way that Hellblade went, right? Hellblade did not start out AAA.
Right.
Not at all. But once it caught fire,
right,
they're like, yo, this is dope. Xbox came in, bought it. Now they're getting AAA money to do the next game. And I think there's going to be a lot of that in the future. You're not going to see AAAs take as much of a risk as they did previously, especially when they could turn out games super fast, like on the 360 and PS3. Some say the PS3 didn't turn out games super fast because of the cell processor and whatnot, but it was still a lot faster than today, right? So, so with that being said, I just think, we're gonna start seeing games. Oh yeah, that indie was popular. It's getting now it went from indie to AA, and it's still popular, going from AA to AAA now. And I think it's gonna be more of a ladder climb for these games than it's just gonna be, EA is pulling a Square Enix and spending $100 million on a game, and it's just not gonna perform.
Right. We saw what
happened. As much promises as possible in a business. You want as many promises as you possibly can get.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I said, I'm hoping that, things like, Idea at Xbox, hopefully Sony will start to invest more into indies. Same with Nintendo, just because that's where we're going to start to see, new IPs, and to be able to support them, to be able to become AAA type games. I mean, look at State of Decay. That's another good example too, because
Psychonauts.
Right, Psychonauts. I mean, like you said, for a already established AAA studio, for them to pivot from whatever they made their bread and butter with and to make a brand new IP, it's a risk. It's a big risk.
And a very scary one too.
Yeah.
Because in like just a month or so, you could go from being proud that you dropped that game to
Right.
my studio's dissolved. Great.
Right.
Like what
And
happened
you have to be able
Luminous.
to take that consumer hat off too with that type of stuff. And I feel like a lot of people, especially on Twitter, aren't able to do that. Right? It's all about feeling, right, and how they're feeling, and them wanting to have what they want. But as a consumer, of course, I would like to see a triple A studio risk it, but they're not. They're just not.
All right, I got one last question before I start to get down to the last few that
No
has
problem.
to do with this subject. But I want to know from not only you, but I want to know from the chat as well, from those of you watching Pixelbit and Nate, John, General Spartan, all of y'all, Cherise, Lady Infamous, if you're still around, St. John, you guys, do you think that will ever be a time like we had in the 360 and PS3 generation again, where games are just coming out left and right, and it's only a couple year cycle versus 6 to 10 for a big game?
I don't think so. Just because of the quality that we're expecting, right? For a AAA game, like it takes forever to get that down.
So
And
you don't think that's possible anymore?
I really don't. Unless we are to get way more people into the business of making games. If we can get more creators into the business of making games, then yeah. But I think right now it's still stagnant. We might get a wave coming here with following generations, but people have to know that they can make a good living making games and that there's job security making games, which right now we have one but not the other.
Okay. I kind of think differently on it. I think there is a possibility of it, but the thing is it's not gonna. I think the possibility is there, but AAA maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the ability to make games quicker, in my opinion, possibly with Unreal and people getting used to the software and whatnot to that, I think maybe possibly in a couple years, the way Unreal's talking, like they got all the assets you'll ever need and they got all of this and all of that in the third. I think there is.
But is that going to be available to the average person, right? Because when we had the 360 arcade and stuff like that, the tools needed to make games were very accessible. That's the problem. That's what I'm talking about. We need games creation to be damn near free, to be able to have enough creators accessible to be able to make those games, to have a full fleshed out, arcade type backlog. Like that's what's going to propel the industry, right? But if we have all these barriers to entry, people aren't going to be able to make games. Therefore, you're only going to have big studios making games, and then you're only going to have them making the titles that sell.
Right. I thought Nate in the chat brought up a great point. He said it depends. I think that depends all on what you want. There are times when people say I have they have like nothing to play, but he's juggling like 20 games at that time, so it depends on the individual. I agree in that sense where there is always something to play, there is always something dropping, but is it always as flashy as it was when it seemed like EA is dropping like 5 games this year or something like that, and what is it, like Epic has games coming out back to back, or 343 has more than one Halo in a generation. Like
Right.
I mean it. I think it's possible, but the expectation of the craziest of highest of quality ever may have to suffer due to that. And I think that is something that should happen. I wish there was somebody that was just willing to make games that aren't, breaking the bank.
I think they do, but
Hi-Fi
then
Rush was a
people shit on.
fantastic game. Hi-Fi
But
Rush
that's
was a
different.
fantastic game that, in my opinion, probably didn't break the bank at all.
Mm-hmm.
And came out fantastic. And the way they rolled that out couldn't have been any better by having it be a shadow.
Yeah, but you're talking about a totally different like art style, right? An art style that like what we were just talking about with Ninja Theory. That shit costs, right? We know that shit costs. With Hi-Fi Rush, you're talking about a totally different art style that would not need the same resources. So it's like, it depends on and I agree with what he said, it depends on what you like to play. If you're the type of gamer who likes to play a little bit of everything, then yeah, you're good. You're golden. Because there is always a little bit of everything. But what we tend to see in the media is that games that aren't of the highest quality get shit on. Like they get ate up just for clicks. And then people don't give it the time of day.
That's a fact, though, because it is extremely popular to either give somebody the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And when you give it the thumbs down, it's really pretty bad. It's usually not, it's okay. It's, this is ass. Don't play this. Something like that. But
exactly.
We're winding down towards the end, and I got 3 questions left. 2 of them are kind of put together. But let's get into that. So the first thing I want to know is what frustrates you about gaming, if anything at all.
You mean the gaming community or just playing games?
It could be anything that has to do with gaming. So it could be community, it could be games being broken, it could be, somebody saying one thing and then not following through with it. Could be Jim Ryan, Phil Spencer, whatever.
Yeah, I would say the media bias and the for clout type of media coverage we have in the gaming space. I mean, like we just touched on, it's very much a for clicks, right? For traffic, so that they can say that they have X amount of people on their site a day, and I just don't think it's good for the gaming landscape. I mean, we've seen titles, we've seen articles that are literally about nothing, but they put a title out there that is eye-catching, so that people click on it, right? And then the console war baiting and bias is just, it's annoying because people who aren't, who don't know as much in the industry, they get swayed by that, and I don't know. It's frustrating having to try to combat that. Which I feel like we do on our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it and it's hard to do that sometimes because it's just like, you see all these other people getting a ton of views and concurrent followers from just talking about insanity,
right?
Or just,
and I mean,
I guess,
yeah. But that should let you know the people who are doing it because they enjoy doing it, and the people who are doing it because they want to get clout, be seen, and try to make a quick buck out of this whole thing. I mean, there are a ton of people who the only reason why they're doing it, they don't play games. They just shit on games because that's their way to get attention. That's their way to get a little bit of clout to get some monetization. I mean, we simply enjoy playing games and talking about games. If we don't get people coming to watch our show, we would still do it. We appreciate every single person that comes, but we would continue to do it because we enjoy doing it.
Got it. All right. And then on the other side, the second part of that question is, what would be a dream come true in gaming as a whole? So kind of flipping the script.
A dream come true in gaming would be if we could have a Black female protagonist in a fantasy game and not hear one shit about it. Also, for the
like
story
in the sense
to
that
be,
it doesn't get like dumped on or something like that.
it doesn't get dumped on, and it has a genuine story created by people of color, consulted with people of color, and really thoughtful in that space. Because I mean, one of my biggest gripes with Forspoken was the story of the character. I feel like she didn't have to be a dumpster baby, for her story to be provocative. Like, why is it that this person of color has to be a throwaway for her to have a valid story? Why are those the stories we still continue to tell?
Yeah. It's always it always feels very like obvious or something like that.
Right.
Like it's not
Right.
that creative.
Yeah, very cliche, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like uncomfortable cliche too.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's
You
just like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, and it's like, like you said, here we go again, another, angry Black person. Is that what we have to do?
Absolutely. I like that answer. That would be something for sure, and I definitely wouldn't mind seeing it. But we have reached the end of the show now.
All right.
So thank you so much, L.Boogie.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It was a good time. And what I want you to do one last time is just let everybody know where they can find you, gaming or social media or whatever. Let everybody know where they could see you. I also do have her stuff in the description below. So if you want just a quick link to get there, I have like her Twitch in there. I have Grown Women.
Yeah, which I'm like not on, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I got it there. I just got to have you get supported as many ways as possible from me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go on ahead and sign yourself one more time. My daughter's trying to break in. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you guys can find me everywhere. My name is the same everywhere. So L.Boogie 0208 on the PlayStation, Xbox, Twitter, all that good stuff. I try to keep my name the same everywhere I can. Y'all can find me there. I don't do the streaming thing too much anymore, but I do have a Twitch, YouTube, all that good stuff. And yeah, come chat with me on Twitter, our Discord, or on Saturdays on GWG.
Yeah, GWG. Let's go. One last thing, just to, throw your brain into, a blender real quick. I want you, before we get out of here, to describe gaming in just 3 words.
My happy place.
Ooh, went together nice and smooth.
Right.
It wasn't 3 just random words. Fun, exciting, accessible or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, my
That's what
happy
I get
place. I
sometimes. I
go
don't mind
to.
it. You know, everybody, you know,
Yeah,
so, especially when I hit them with that question at the end, they're like, oh crap,
right.
what do I do?
Yeah, right.
But it's your happy place, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what's up. Thank you everybody for coming out and watching this episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo, L.Boogie up in the house today. It was a very good show. We appreciate your guys' time. Make sure if you haven't, hit that like button. Come back for more episodes. I don't even remember off the top of my head who I have coming on next week, to be frank with you, but I do know for sure that I already did the thumbnail. So if you guys want to go check it out, you'll be able to see who I got coming on next week. That will be awesome. But I mean, I do podcasts 4 times a week just on my channel, and then I have like 3 other podcasts that I'm part of that have nothing to do with my channel. So excuse me if I don't remember every single thing, but tomorrow make sure you show up 3:00 Central, 4:00 Eastern for bull. You see, I'm forgetting my own shows. For bull sitting with me, Loke, Cozy, Beluga, Matt Likes Games, and we have special guests coming back for the 2nd week in the row because he had to get out early last time. Mr. K Asante is coming back, and he is helping me set up my Steam Deck, which, if you're wondering what I mean by that, I had to get this little thing right here to get the SD card, get Tiny 11 on this SD card, and I'm going to be plugging it into my Steam Deck probably tomorrow and getting Windows uploaded on there, so then I can have access to Xbox and all my games on there, because I don't have I have a Steam library, but it is not big. It's like maybe
You can do
10
cloud
games or something
too
like that.
through Game Pass.
I know I can do cloud, but Mr. K Asante is teaching me a way to natively download Xbox games onto my Steam Deck, and that's what I'm all about. I want to be able to natively play Scarlet Nexus or Ark or Halo or whatever. So that's what I'm on the road to do. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. I know I'm, getting into the weeds a little bit. Y'all make sure y'all have a good night, and hopefully I see y'all soon. Remember, as I always say, keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out, y'all. Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. That's your name. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you could play it. Take a chance with me and have that conversation. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just want